Hello everyone and welcome back guys to round 4 of the Apex Online Racing League Classic Christmas Cup, and I can only apologise for no highlights from last time out at Monza in the Ferrari F2002 because unfortunately my computer decided to restart. But having a look at the standings, see coming into round 4 of the season, it is looking mighty tight between myself and TR Limitless. Just 1 point separate us, as he, when he's done well, he's just about edged me out. But then I've just been, that little bit more consistent so far throughout the season. But 2 rounds to go, 1 point separating us in the standings, and then a 36-point gap back down to Hayden 432. It's looking more and more at this moment in time like a 2-horse race as we come into the Brazilian Grand Prix in the McLaren MP4-23. The oh my goodness me, is that GLOCK Formula 1 race, as it's more commonly known. And as you can see, it is very, very wet for this Grand Prix, which was not reassuring for myself, not reassuring for JD, and that meant that it was time to alter my setup. As you can see, going to max out, well, not max out the wings, but turn the wings up a huge amount more, and then basically do what I do with most of my setups, up the differential either way, and then sort of make everything else just that bit more neutral overall in the grand scheme of things there. That's personally, my quick tips to making sure that your setup does end up working alright. As you can see, we're not exactly, haven't got the most time in the world to be sorting this out, so good, that we were somehow able to sort that out, and then also bringing a bit of fuel out of the car as well, ready for this Brazilian Grand Prix. The penultimate round of the season. My main aim today was to pull out a little bit of a gap over Mr. TR Limitless, but it's going to be very, very tough to find out. But here we are then on the grid. It is 5 lights for the Brazilian Grand Prix. And it is finally lights out, and away we go. And actually off to quite a decent start there against JD alongside me there, as well as VSR Leopard, very, very slow off the start. So somehow already before turn 1, we've been able to make up 4 positions there. I'm going to go a bit of odd line in towards turn 1 there from AOR Shamil, and actually get a bit of contact with Hayden 430 there. So a little bit unfortunate for him as we came through turn 1 and turn 2. They're trying to look down the inside of Shamil. There's a huge bit of laggy contact there, as I think Mini Dude has unfortunately disconnected from the session here. And as we look behind me, there are just McLarens all over the place, all over my gearbox here. So we played nice and defensive into turn 4 there, and somehow we're able to hold on to the position for now. But as we come out of the corner, we got the flying Finn having a look down the inside there. He completely chucks it down the inside there, runs himself off the road on the exit of the corner there. I think there was a little bit of lag going on with that move, as he told me in the party there. But yeah, that was certainly one of Flying Finn's finest dive bombs here, as AOR Shamil tries to look right around the outside here as we come through. The middle sector of this Grand Prix, swipes right across me there, trying to get over to the racing line towards the next corner there, and the Flying Finn able to capitalise on that and move up into P11 of this Grand Prix. But fortunately for me, I actually heard that TR Limitless was really, really struggling at this moment in time, which sort of relieved the pressure a little bit off myself here. I knew he was having a few issues. He was already, complaining that he wanted to go back to the pad for the rest of this Grand Prix here. But welting all over the shop just in front of me there. But, after that, at the start, we just weren't willing to take too many risks in this Grand Prix. We were still going to go for moves if the opportunity did arise. But, we weren't going to do anything too rash, and certainly not against someone like the Flying Finn. Certainly going to be able to capitalise and read, most moves that are going to occur there. AOR Charlie very, very slow out of turn 3, so we're going to now take that position there. See Heist F1, Finn and Shamil Heskey all over each other here. Heist squeezing Finn into the wall there. We just going to back out very, very early from that. There's a car on the outside that's gone absolutely flying. No idea who that was there, that was just sent off to Narnia on the outside through the end of the first sector there. But we're now up somehow into P9 in this Grand Prix after not really making up too many, genuine overtakes here. But now, all over the back of Heist, we're going to send one down the inside in towards this very, very tight middle sector there. So making the move before we have to sit behind him for the rest of this sector. And now already up into P8 here. 8 places made up in the first lap and a half of this Grand Prix. We are certainly not complaining as of right now here. We see coming through in towards the final sector though, we were still being very, very cautious here. As well as the fact, weren't really too sure how well the tyres would fare in this Grand Prix as well. This car, obviously no traction control and groove tyres, means it just doesn't grip up ever really when you want to do it. So see coming out the final corner there, out of Jung Sao, really, really having to try and fight with the car more than any other driver at this moment in time. But now skipping on to lap 4 of the Grand Prix, and we're all over the back of X Jazza here. Think about having a look down towards the inside, in towards turn 1 here. We have got a little bit of a better run, but everyone else seems to be running lower wings than myself there, so he is able to hold it right around the outside in towards turn 1. There a tiny bit of contact made between the pair of us here, and as we come out of turn 1 here, just going to get the car caught on a bit of a wet patch there, nearly lose the back end there. Somehow keep it facing the right direction there, but VSR Leopard is going to pounce on that opportunity there, move up my inside into P8 of this Grand Prix, and I know he won last time out at Italy there, so he really, you know, wants to prove a point in these Grand Prix here. So, you know, unfortunately he didn't make the first few rounds, so it's not really like he is in a title fight as we come in towards the final few Grand Prix of this series. But now skipping on to lap 6 there, Leopard absolutely sends one very, very late up the inside of X-Jazza there, completely causes X-Jazza to spin out of control there. You know, not particularly well-timed dive bomb in my personal opinion there, but I guess it got the job done. I'm not really too sure of that, but now we're all over the back of VSR Leopard here, really, really close to him. We think about going for a move down the inside in towards the next corner there. He breaks very, very early as well, make a tiny bit of contact on the exit of the corner there, and he comes completely across me there. That was definitely a little bit of lag involved there, and he hits me again, but somehow we have managed to survive that. That was certainly a heart-in-mouth moment there, but yeah, no idea. You know, we had two very, very near misses there in that first half of lap there, but somehow we've come out of that. We've made up 2 positions as well, so I'm not exactly going to be complaining at this moment in time. But it took us all the way to lap 12 really before we came up towards any other cars, and it was now KJ Gamer and Shamil Heskey as we come through the first couple of corners there. KJ Gamer absolutely parking the bus, getting a monstrous run on Shamil Heskey here. We're now going to try and think about going up the inside in towards turn 5 there. He just about shuts the door on that, makes a bit of contact with KJ Gamer, really, really ruins his run on the exit of the corner. We're pushing him through, we send one down the inside in towards turn 6 there. We squeeze him out wide on the exit of the corner there, you know, just kicking out the back end, Jensen Button 2009 style, to make sure, you know, we were having that position and we weren't willing to back down at this moment in time here. But KJ Gamer really, really struggling for turning through these final couple of corners of the middle sector here, and this is really, you know, where it starts to get a little bit worrying, because the tyres, well, you'll find out in a second, the tyres were over 50% through already, and this McLaren I found in the past is notorious for getting worse and worse on its tyres, and especially as the track gets drier and drier, and obviously there's no intermediate tyres on these cars. It was only going to make the tyre wear even worse here. So by this point of the Grand Prix, I sort of thought, right, we've got JD's outside the top 10. We're going to be scoring far more points than him in this Grand Prix if we just hold station for now in this race. And it was at this moment I decided, you know, that was it. I'm not going to try and take any more risks in this Grand Prix. Probably, you know, the boring option, I'm not going to lie, in this Grand Prix. But, you know, there was no point for me, you know, really taking too many strategic gambles in the final few laps of this Grand Prix. As we now move on to the end of lap 16 here, we've got Shamil Heskey actually closing up to me through the final couple of corners here. Fortunately for me, he's not going to be able to get too close just yet there. But KJ Gamer and Fluffy Pillow are locked into battle just ahead of me here through turn 1 and turn 2 though. But it's the Flying Finn who's faced a puncture there very, very early on, actually relative to most of the other drivers there. But that's going to gift me P5 in this Grand Prix here, and I'm actually going to leave on board with these final couple of laps of this Grand Prix, so you can just see how, you know, protective over my tyres I really, really was. Obviously, I had a puncture in the first race at Japan there, as I think KJ Gamer now has become a victim of the puncture as well there. So up now into P4 of this Grand Prix, and everyone around me just dropping like flies now with punctures here, punctures there, punctures absolutely everywhere there. We've actually got one of the lap cars there of VSR Leopard moving out of the way nice and tidily as well there. But as I said, you know, I'm going to leave you on board with these final couple of laps because I was just so protective over these tyres. As I was saying, we had a puncture at Japan at the first round of the season. I really, really did not want to repeat that in these final couple of rounds of the season. You know, we were going to gain so many points over Tyrrell Limitless at this moment in time, so no point really going to try and risk going for anything ridiculous as we come on towards the final lap of the Grand Prix. And Shamil Heskey behind me is really not being as conservative as I am in towards this final lap of the Grand Prix. He's going to get a much better run out of the final corner there. He's going to look towards the outside in towards someone there, and there is no way I'm going to be fighting against that there. We just completely back out down in towards the corner, break nice and early as well there. You see the tyres already up to 85% there, but Heist F1 tries to send one down the inside there. Not really too sure whether he thought, you know, that I had a puncture at this moment in time or not there, but, you know, not really what I wanted in this Grand Prix, as we now had another car that was really, really trying to go for moves there. But fortunately for me, Doesn't get a particularly good run. He thinks about looking down the inside in towards turn 4 there, but not going to be able to position stick as of yet here. As we come down in towards the second sector, the tyres nearly up to 90% here, but Shamil Heskey in front of me there has now become a victim of the tyre wear as well there. He completely flies off the circuit as Heist F1 going to completely send one down the inside there. We're leaving the room on the inside there, but fortunately for me, not able to make that position stick as of yet here. But you know, he's still trying to, try to go for moves whenever the opportunity does arise there. He sends one down the inside. We give him the room once more there, but fortunately for me, he gets absolutely terrible traction out of the corner here. You know, we're not even really trying to fight this as he has a look right around the outside here, but it was this moment, you know, he unfortunately ran a little bit wide there through the final corner. I was like, I've survived now. Gonna flick it up into rich revs up towards the line in at this Brazilian Grand Prix, and somehow we haven't got a puncture in at that race. It's Ollie wins the Grand Prix, Jamie 183 in P2, and I'm going to come through for P4 from P16 on the grid there. Very, very happy with that result overall. You can see further down the order, unfortunately, poor old Tyrrell Limitless, once again, not getting the luck of the green here. Unfortunately, all the way down in P10 by the end of that Grand Prix there. So as you can see, overall, a race that I could be very, very happy with for myself. Really did everything that I needed to in that Grand Prix, and, wasn't willing to take too many risks right towards the very end of that race. You can see Shamil Heskey does somehow finish P5 there with AOR, who was that? AOR Charlie, sorry, in P6. I think Mini doing well in P7. KJ Gamer, P8, Hayden 9th, JD in 10th, Welty 11th, Heist F1 actually retiring on the final lap of that Grand Prix with VSR Leopard 12th, Sophie Lavazier in P13 there with the Flying Finn 14th, and then a couple of disconnects right down at the very bottom of the field there. But hopefully, you guys have enjoyed this video. I think mathematically now I go into the final race of the season with a 22-point lead over Tyrrell Limitless there, which means effectively, I need to stay within sort of 2-3 positions of him in the final round of the season. But thank you all so much for watching this video. Thank you all as well for so much support throughout this series. It's been so much fun. But one more race to go. Hopefully we can win the title, and I will see you guys next time out at the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix in the legendary Red Bull RB6.